Well, John, hello, Amanda. To answer your question, Amanda, the mainstream media, the legacy media, they won't cover this. They'll ignore it. They're complicit in it. I mean, take a look at Adam Schiff. He was censored in the House. I doubt that was barely covered in California. Now he's been outed here from a standpoint of leaking classified information. He falsified his mortgage papers. I doubt any of this is going to be covered in California, and proof positive of that is after he's censored in the House, he got elected to the Senate from California. So again, I wouldn't hold my breath in terms of people being held accountable by the legacy, the corporate media. Now, again, I appreciate all the work that you and John, John's just been, bulldogging this. It's a lot of his contacts, his whistleblowers are making this possible. I think that's the other point to be made, is we need whistleblowers. We don't know what documents exist. Now, I sure wish these whistleblowers would come forward when the statute of limitations has not run out. I think it's one of the reasons they probably are coming forward now. Nobody really can be held accountable legally. So about the only accountability here is exposure. It's extremely important. It is the first step in accountability. But, for somebody like myself, I'm sure for John, for you guys, this is just horribly frustrating. We've been demanding documents. My guess is Kash Patel. He's probably demanded documents. But until a whistleblower comes forward and tells them specifically, here's where you'll find it, the people inside the deep state, they're not going to come up with this. And just think about it. These documents lay dormant throughout the entire first Trump administration. This is when people like Senator Grassley and I were asking for records. We're demanding records. We never got them. We're barely getting them now, and only because of whistleblowers. So again, the deep state, it is deep. It is populated by partisans. They are not Republicans. They are not conservatives. They do not support Donald Trump. So, I mean, we're getting this information, we're clawing it out of them. They're giving up kicking and screaming.
You've done a lot to get them screaming and kicking, and you've done a lot to get them finally to give up us things, and all the things you've looked at. I want to just focus on the extraordinary moment of the spring and summer of 2016 now, because we now have a more complete picture than we've ever had. The FBI is ramping up an investigation on false, trumped-up allegations of Russia collusion against Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, while the same Justice Department is ramping down, pressuring its agents not to look at the possibility that the former Secretary of State and Democratic nominee was engaged in pay-to-play. The contrast couldn't be more stunning, but that's what's going on. Your thoughts on how we go about fixing that dynamic, that two people get treated entirely different in the same window?
Well, we need to stop funding the deep state. We need to root out the partisan actors. But you're exactly right. So the FBI, Department of Justice, they're shutting down 2 Clinton scandals. Now, I'm quite sure these investigations were predicated on Peter Schweizer's book, Clinton Cash.
They were.
I mean, it was out there. I mean, you could see the corruption. Selling our uranium rights to Russia. Raking in, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars in the Clinton Foundation. It just on its face seemed horribly corrupt. Peter Schweizer laid it all out there, so you get people investigating, and then you got Sally Yates shut it down, as you say, while they are ramping up the completely false, the Russian hoax, knowing that it was a false Russian hoax from the Hillary Clinton campaign. Yep. While they're also shutting down the James Comey exoneration memo, the FBI, the same cast characters who push Crossfire Hurricane, changing things like gross negligence into extremely carelessness, so it wouldn't meet the legal standard of a crime. So no, I mean, it is thoroughly corrupt. Those of us who've investigated this have known it for a long time, so it's good to get confirmation of that. I'm sorry it's too late to probably rely on real criminal investigations, which is why I hope that Pam Bondi ramps us up to a conspiracy where we can get a venue like Florida where at a minimum we hold a trial, because I can't think of a better venue day by day, week by week, where we lay out the timeline of the grotesque corruption of these partisans within the Department of Justice, within the FBI, all on the side of the Democrats, all in opposition, sabotaging Trump's first administration. And if they can, they'll do it to a second administration.